this is not a satanic ritual.
This was not a satanic or any other kind of ritual.
Tell me, listen, I invite anyone to have a conscious conversation about it.
I make wishes come true.
Okay, so let's go through it and debunk the case that demons did anything for Travis, Chris, Kylie, or anyone at the show. This is the most thorough Travis Scott Astroworld conspiracy debunking.
Like Astroworld, let's get into it. And I said it back then, I said it now, just like I said about Jesse Smollett and the rest. Anybody said something about it, ended up happening.
What you think went on at that Astroworld?
That's what I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, think about it. It's a monster. They some beasts. When they say is uncivilized, that's some Kardashians, that's some Jenners.
Many people have come forward claiming that the entire Travis Scott concert was set up to be a demonic sacrificial ritual.
Bobby said Travis Scott was chanting as people were dying and bodies were being pulled out. No doubt about it. This is all bad and all by design. These actors, celebrities, sell their souls to be in these positions. Sacrifice the people around you for more money and fame. Energy harvesting rituals, dishonestly, all of the above. They know exactly what they are doing.
The music industry is a very dark industry. The majority of the people that make it to these top levels of stardom, these are people that have sacrificed some things to get there.
9 times out of 10, your favorite artist definitely has satanic ties, bro. That is just what Hollywood does to all of these industry rats.
Prince of the world is Satan, and he will grant the people closest to him everything they want. And it's the ones that have everything, all the riches in the world, all the glitz, the glamour, the followers, the fame, the fortune, are the ones who are the most satanic puppets you ever met in your life.
If you've studied your conspiracy theory, then by now you know that the whole entertainment industry is just an Illuminati plot in order to help the satanic New World Order take over everything and control the masses by indoctrinating the youth with anti-Christian messaging and subliminal messages.
Hollywood is literally the devil's playground. LA, Hollywood, that's all satanic, bruh. That shit is run by Satanists. Now, when I speak about the demonic agenda, I simply mean artists are simply put in place images through music videos, lyrics, song lyrics, movies, comedians, jokes, all of these things to make you more accepting of what sin is. I want you to pay attention. Lust, greed, all of the 7 deadly sins that are listed in the Bible are what's being exploited in today's society with the hopes of turning as many souls away from God and to Satan. That's exactly why everything being pushed through the entertainment industry has demonic ties.
And of course, the Freemasons control the Satanists, but they in turn are controlled by the Luciferians, who are controlled by the Illuminati, which is probably ultimately the Rothschilds and their friend Satan.
Satan is a dude, Satan is a friend of mine.
I mean, there's even this handy chart. I mean, just look at it. It's totally real, duh. But let's narrow in on this Travis Scott Astroworld situation and really delve into the evidence. Because clearly this was a demonic sacrifice.
Was it a satanic ritual to bring bodies and souls to the other side?
And it just got crazy for everybody up there that was basically getting sacrificed.
It was clearly designed as a satanic ritual.
It was a ritual. This man came dressed for the ritual.
A sacrifice, bro. I said that in my last video too.
He knew what he had to set up. He knew how to set up the stage, the gateways and portals for the demon to come and collect the human sacrifice.
Let y'all know, the demons came to eat that night, okay? There was actually a blood sacrifice that was done right there, okay? A blood sacrifice. So demons have to be fed, okay? They have to be fed. They're going to either be fed through blood sacrifices or they're going to be fed through sex rituals. Do we understand that? Do we understand that? That's how they have to be. That's how they have to be fed. So when he said that there was going to be a feast on Friday, he literally meant that. Y'all see what he says right here?
Feast? What are you feasting on?
And the people who espouse this fact know this for certain. They have absolutely no doubt.
My third eye, my higher conscious, won't let my body believe you. It won't let my brain believe you because I know more. I know better than that. I know more than this third dimensional shit, bruh. Like, I'm not, like, it just won't let me, like, I try to convince myself and it just won't let me.
When you walking in the prophetic and you have sensitivities like we do, you see stuff like this. You see things that the average person wouldn't see. Why? Because your sensitivity to the realm of the spirit is heightened.
And girl, let people tell it online. They'll say, "Oh, that's a sweater. Somebody threw a sweater. Somebody threw a water bottle. That's water. Oh, that's a smoke from the smoke machine that's reflecting off the moon and bouncing back off the fog of the lake or something. You know, swamp gas." It's like, let them say, "Girl, that's a demon in the house. That night, it was demon energy all around that." There's been many people who have come out in defense of Travis Scott, and I do kind of think they might be demons in disguise as well.
So here it is, all spelled out. I mean, just look at all this evidence. The show was a ritual.
I'm all about the blood. You know, we got to turn up.
The blood?
It's all about rage.
Blood.
Just like the...
Who's bleeding on stage?
I mean, you know, I'm not bleeding, but the fans...
I worry about Travis Scott. I'm very worried about him now. It's to the point where it's like, do you believe in Satan? Are you demonic? You want to see blood and you want to see your fans' bodies.
Travis Scott is the GOAT. Travis Scott is the GOAT? Did you catch that?
I mean, Travis Scott is the GOAT. Of course this is a ritual.
Mike Dean, the motherfucking GOAT, baby.
We have such sights to show you.
There is a non-human.
I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
So point one, Travis Scott's advertising is satanic. Just look at it.
Clearly, the imagery just in the advertisement and the imagery literally at the concert is very demonic. But a lot of people sadly are spiritually blind to that darkness. So
well, some of the pictures are, I mean, I'm sorry, it's painfully obvious. Not just, you don't need special discernment.
Yes, exactly.
It's painfully obvious that there's a problem here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see all these Freemasonry symbols, and clearly Freemasons are Satanists. And Astroworld, that sounds like Astral World, which is super Satan. Therefore, totally satanic. Check it out. All right, so I'll have to admit this at the beginning. There are a couple of symbols on here that are historically related with Freemasonry and Freemasonry conspiracy theories. But there is no proof that the Freemasons are Satanists. In fact, the Freemasons are a Christian organization bent on making better men, better Christian men. They may be a cover for Satan, but there is next to no evidence of this, despite the often truism that conspiracies can only stay hidden for a decade or so.
Because I don't believe in one big conspiracy that runs everything. That seems absurd to me, and there's so much evidence against it. I have more sympathy for theories like Carl Oglesby's Yankee and Cowboy War, where the ruling class is split and at war with itself, or the A. Albionic theory, where the British royal family and the Vatican have been fighting for 300 years, and everything else is the result of the two major conspiracies of the British royal family and the Vatican. But even that seems oversimplified. I prefer to think there's, at minimum, at any given time, there's about 24 conspiracies afoot. Carl Oglesby, the historian, once said, "A multitude of conspiracies contend in the night." And as far as I have been able to discover in all my years of being involved in, more or less unwillingly in this field, I cannot find any proof of any conspiracy that really existed, was really brought into court and convicted, that lasted more than 10 years before everybody double-crossed everybody else and the conspiracy fell apart.
I don't believe in any monolithic conspiracy theory because it violates the basic principles of primate psychology. There is nothing that domesticated primates like better than the double cross. Every conspiracy falls apart because the members of it are betraying one another.
I'm proud to present you Earth's highest award for swindling, the Dirty Double Cross.
I'll always treasure it and immediately hock it.
Next, Astroworld. Sounds like Astral World, which is satanic.
If you notice the name of the concert, the Astroworld.
Astroworld
equals world of the stars. Astro, in meaning star or celestial body. Star from the Proto-Indo-European or Pyru, stir. In ancient Greek, Aster. In singular, it mostly meant Cyrus, brightest star. Cyrus, do you hear something in that? We add an O, Osiris.
To me, coming out of witchcraft, it sounds like astral projection. But that's what it sounds like, Astro World. It sounds like Astral World. Another dimension here that's sharing the same space, but spiritual.
I mean, it's totally not because the park was built in the same area as the complex for the Houston Astros.
The park's name, as well as the Astrodome, was a tribute to the Johnson Space Center, which opened in Houston in 1965.
By the same person.
Roy Hoffhines found success in bringing Major League Baseball to Houston. The Astrodome was the beginning, and among these plans was an idea for an amusement park.
You know, there's no importance to that. So finally, his advertising is satanic. I mean, just look at it, right? There is no clear connection between Satanists and Freemasonry. Not all of his advertising is Freemasonry symbols. Much of it is a hearkening back to the original Astroworld, including the name, which incidentally sounds like Astral World, which is a really silly way to say astral realm.
When people think of heaven, they don't think of any boundary, right? We think of heaven as being endless. Even if you subscribe or believe to heaven being outer space or the universe, it's endless. It's infinite, right?
As the astral actually isn't like a world like the world is. I mean, depending on who you ask, I suppose it could be, but overall, it's supposed to be significantly more than that, like at least several worlds.
Houston once had a world all its own, with attractions that could not be found anywhere else.
And then the algorithm, you know what I'm saying, the 808. The 808 exists in the lowest chakra of your body. The majority of content that's related to the 808 is killer or sexual content. The original 808s was even off pitch. So that meant it's an actual sound in the track that you don't realize is there that is up your entire frequency.
So wait, is there something going on in the music to hypnotize everybody?
Another part was that people were saying that Travis Scott was singing a satanic ritual song and dance that were hypnotizing the audience to do really weird things.
You hear this sound? Listen to the sound. The frequency is so demonic. It almost gives me a headache. Look at the people. And look, just swaying like they in a trance. This is worship. This is worship to the deity. This frequency. He walking around like he in a trance. Look at him. Y'all please make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. This is all worship right here.
Remember how I told you, when they're in these big ass mosh pits, when they're in these big ass crowds, a lot of people's souls are being possessed by a higher entity, bro. That don't want to believe me when I say it. I think it's just a concert. My nigga, music is very controlling, very hypnotic. A lot of these people don't know what the fuck they're doing, whether they're on drugs, whether they're too lit. Bro, these people really don't even know, like...
Concerts, I believe, this is a theory though, are made for energy harvesting. So for example, say you go to a popular artist concert. Not all concerts are like this, but this, for example, someone like Beyonce. Okay, you go to a Beyonce concert and the music, the vibrations are just, they're in 440 hertz, which is a negative vibration. You know, you're there, you're dancing around to her music, you're singing her music along with her, you're emitting all of these negative vibrations. They're harvesting your energy. They're using your energy. Like, say you're a Christian, okay? You go to church, and you know that energy you feel when you're singing worship music. You know, some people will start crying. Some people will just feel the presence of God because you are summoning God. You're summoning positive energy. So when you go there and you're summoning all this positive energy, obviously you're going to feel God. You're going to feel the light. These are what these demonic satanic artists are doing, but instead of channeling energy from God, they're using your energy, your massive energy, to channel Satan. I think that we need to start talking about this more, that these people, these elites, these celebrities, they believe in the devil.
Worshiping with this frequency. Y'all don't even know what's happening. Because you can't hear if you're not sensitive to sound, you can't hear that frequency is off, way off. It's demonic.
Lucifer was the angel of music. He is in control of that whole realm.
Point number 2. The music is hypnotizing the people with the spirit of rage, or just making them rageful. Lucifer clearly is the spirit of music. Rage is easily spread through music because spirit moves in music. The music before the show is really intense and spooky and making people sick and rageful.
When Lucifer was in heaven, what did he do?
He played music.
Right. It was literally in his body.
Wow. Yeah.
He was created for worship.
Mm-hmm.
So is it any wonder that things that God originally intended to be for his glory and for his praise can then get twisted and turn to something really negative? This isn't all music is bad and all secular. No. It's realize God is the source of all music, but you have to look at what's the inspiration and what is the music trying to get you to do.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Lucifer is the source, the inspiration. He was created for worship.
The reason being is because, of course, Satan himself is the prince of the power of the air. Okay, which means that he controls the media, he controls the music, he controls all of this, okay?
Like I said, he was also the god of music. Even in the movie The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the Chronicles of Narnia, Pan in the movie lulled Lucy to sleep with his music. And even, you think of Pan in your mind, he's playing a flute. And he's luring, people are following him because of his music. So, just as a side note,
I genuinely believe that all of these artists who go on the stage and perform, their alter self, their alter ego, their celebrity self, is actually a demon working through them, bro. I genuinely believe that. I think it's a demonic spirit working through them. If you guys don't know the Bible, then obviously you wouldn't know that Lucifer was casted out of hell and came to the earth, okay? And the reason why he came to earth was because he started to develop a major sense of pride. And he started to disobey God, and he had to just get kicked out. That's the simple terms of putting it. But the things that he was most well known for in the Bible was his looks. God made him the most handsome angel. And his ability to play music. And that's exactly why in all of these videos I tell you guys that Lucifer is literally the god on this earthly form and is known to have the most correlation to the music industry. Because of the fact that in the Bible he was such a good instrument or such a good musician. That's exactly why he has such a strong correlation to the music industry, bro. That's exactly why he literally breathes and lives through the music industry. So all of these artists, in my opinion, are all demonically led, bro. Especially if you're assigned to a major record label, especially if you're an A-list celebrity that took certain oaths, especially if you're promoting certain messages. You're automatically, in my eyes, demonic.
But the Bible doesn't actually say this. In fact, the only mention of it is an obscure reference to Ezekiel 28 in the King James Version of the Bible. Ezekiel 28:12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus said the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Now this is the real important part. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. So, like you, I'm still waiting for where this is A mention of Lucifer, or B, a mention of Lucifer being an angel, being the spirit of music, but it's not there. Literally, the proof that they're using is right here. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee, in thou day that thou was created. That's it. That's literally it. That's the evidence that Lucifer was in charge of music. Next, the canonical Bible only mentions Lucifer one time, and that would be Isaiah 14:12. There is no evidence that Lucifer has anything to do with music. And if so, please enlighten me. But I see no biblical evidence of that. And this is also contradicted by church and centuries of Christian composers and musicians in Christian music. Did Lucifer inspire all of the hymnal music, for instance? Did he inspire all of gospel music? Did he inspire all of the classical masters who wrote church music? Rage is spread through the music, or the spirit moves in the music.
You hear him say higher, higher? That's the entrance right there. He's ushering in the demonic presence. He's going low in reference of the entities, the deities that are entering the house. The spirit of the house was rage. Now rage is going to invite some folks in here.
The idea of the spirit of rage is an interesting idea, but one that is confusing in this context. First, like, why can't God stop it? 2, why is rage this powerful? And 3, what is actually meant by rage?
It started turning with Little John. There was a character called Little John where he didn't have to be coherent or knowledgeable anymore. It was all about who could scream or rage the loudest, right?
Okay, if you listen, you can hear him tell the crowd to put their middle finger up to the sky to God because they're getting ready to rage.
Make some noise. Everybody put a middle finger up to the sky because my boy ready to rage.
Okay, just for reference, to rage would mean to violently jump up and down.
That raging shit, bro, I can never understand it. They're just raging. People are forming mosh pits, hurting each other.
It's a violent emotion. It's a spirit. It's a very strong, violent feeling. That's what rage is. It's insanity. It's madness. It's frenzy. All negative energy. All violent emotions being stirred up.
All these raging artists, they all do some satanic shit, bro. They all practice some devilish shit, got upside down crosses tattooed on their faces, on their body and shit like that.
If you look at what Travis Scott means by the word rage, it's vastly different than what these other people are defining it as, which makes sense because they're not hip to the lingo, but it's a specific word that has a specific meaning. And in the way that they're using it, they're actually making an equivocation fallacy because they're using the word incorrectly. People don't mean rage out and kill everybody around you. What they mean is party really crazy, so like dance around really hard. And those are 2 entirely different things.
Each culture, I think, is being that terminology is being slid into Travis Scott as a person, or that the crowd had the intent of someone getting hurt. And mosh pits have been going on for 30, 40 years. And, slamming your head around, having a good time, being hyped, jumping around and getting it in, is what the point was. So I don't want us to confuse rage culture so far as raging at having a good time to be the same thing as raging, as in there is an intent for other people to hurt other folk or for somebody to die.
So talking about like a rage, like what is a rage, right? So a rage is when you go to a party or a concert and you just like start jumping around, yelling and screaming, right? So he was saying that he wants people to go to his concerts and rage is all about the rage. I'm sorry, I'm the type of person that I'll go to a concert, I'll spend the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a VIP seat and watch the concert and enjoy it and Instagram it and stuff like that. Like, girl, I'm not gonna be jumping around in my Givenchy Balenciaga and getting it dirty. No, that's not what I do. So he doesn't like people like that who go to his concerts to enjoy the show. He wants you to rage. He wants you to jump around. He wants you to go crazy.
I've never been into the mosh pits. Some of y'all may be into it. To each his own, baby. If I go to a concert and you punch me in the face, we're not going to have a good time, okay? We're not going to laugh and dance and jump around in a circle. If you punch me in the face, somebody's going to jail because,
What's so thrilling about being at one of Travis's live performances? The intense dancing, mosh pits, stage diving, sweat, and bloody noses are staples of the Travis Scott live experience. Travis describes this upbeat experience as raging. In a 2015 interview with British GQ, Travis said he was inspired by WWF. Since I was 6, I wanted to be a wrestler, so in performances, I always wanted to make it feel like it was the WWF or some shit. Travis also explained what raging at a concert meant. We don't want you standing around, like, this is a no-stand zone. You find anything you're going to use to get you, like, lit. Whatever you want to do, man, just get in and you just have fun. At the end of the night, you should be throwing up.
People didn't come there to go into some rage. They came there to be entertained. Tragedies have happened over time, over the last 25, 30 years in different venues, and some countries have responded differently.
People didn't show up there to just be harmful. People just, I think, showed up to have a good time, and it's, you know, something unfortunate happened. Raging is just a, you know, they have a textbook, you know, definition, but, you know, in concerts, I mean, we've grown it to be just an experience of having fun. It's not about just, harm. It's not about that. It's about just letting go and having fun, you know, help others, you know, love each other. It's not about just, you know, harm. That's not what it's all about. The show isn't just rambunctious for an hour. You know, that's not what it is.
When I look at rage culture, to me, it's kind of like the new acronym for kind of what's happened with Travis Scott. What's not really that new, which is a mosh pit. So essentially, you know, we're going to get hype, have fun, and jump around and, you know, do what young folk can do. Realizing that as I approach 50, I can't jump around like that anymore. But that was a time when I could be near the stage and jump around and slam your head around and just have a really good time while listening to music. So that is the intent of what they're doing. You know, this rage, and that you look like you're in a rage, but the folk are really actually having fun. There's no plan to hurt anyone or for anyone to get hurt.
Next, if the spirit of things is spread through music, and much modern music is about sex, drugs, weakness, suffering, and killing people, how is this anything but par for the course? In other words, why is Travis Scott's particular deviations from Christian doctrine any different than tons of other rappers? Or many modern musicians in general? And yes, I hear you. All of them are in the Illuminati.
Hollywood is literally the devil's playground. LA, Hollywood, that's all satanic, bruh. That shit is run by Satanists.
Men and women that work in Hollywood, they're all Satanists.
I bet.
All of them are Satanists. And you know what? Anybody could tell me different. I really don't care because I know.
Artists are simply put in place images through music videos, lyrics, song lyrics, movies, comedians, jokes, all of these things to make you more accepting of what sin is.
The music before the show is really intense and spooky and makes people sick and rageful.
I don't really agree with the whole devil thing, but something about how he talks about the vibes were different this Astroworld, and in the comments, everyone was talking about the frequency of the music they were playing in between sets. And that they started playing this weird bass, like this just like repetitive bass noise and nothing else. But then I instantly got sick and I passed out on the floor. And I even told my friend before I passed out, I was like, I'm lightheaded. And then I was like, is this noise bothering you too? And then I passed out.
There's also a video going around where people are waiting for Travis Scott to come on stage. But while they're waiting, they're playing this frequency music. And people were saying that they felt nauseous and weird. I felt weird. When I was out there waiting, like I was going to wait too, I felt weird. And I was like, that's why I left. So they really were playing some frequency music out there and jacking people up. And I think that explains the heart attacks and how people were falling immediately after he jumped on stage. I think that shit was orchestrated heavily.
I believe there is some reason to believe the power of sonic warfare. But having experimented with sound frequencies a great deal, I don't really think you could make people more bored and agitated with sound than by making them wait in close proximity to each other throughout the day. But for clarity's sake, here's a calming frequency. And an alarming one. And one in the middle is a palate cleanse. Now here is the music that was playing before the show.
The escape plan.
Imagine hearing that for hours, getting your energy centers jacked up, and then when he came out, he breathes out fire. So it's hot, plus the body heat, plus the amount of people there. It's just bad. Frequency warfare has been around for a while.
As I said before, it came out of witchcraft, and to me, this would be evidence of a spell being cast over the music and evidence of it working.
And as you can see, the music is kind of annoying and repetitive, but it's EDM music. It sucks, in my opinion, and if that's your opinion, then we agree.
We're not in an underground drug rave in Amsterdam or Germany right now. This is an annual festival open to families and young kids and everyone who wants to see hip-hop, Fortnite, Travis Scott.
Pretty much all music that is made and played, even your Christian music, is made and played at a certain vibration that is literally evil.
And did you know that concert pitch is actually Nazi propaganda? Some people say that Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, pushed for the 440 standardization for the tuning of the A above middle C because unlike the 432 standard, 440 doesn't reduce to the Fibonacci sequence. And this, when you listen to it, will fill you with rage.
440 hertz was actually used as a military tactic. It was also used by Hitler over Germany to put them under mind control, to make them hate a certain segment of their population.
There is said to be something sinister about the frequency of 440 hertz.
The frequency that the kingdom of darkness typically operates on is 440 megahertz. You might think that, oh yeah, well, everybody operates on that sound, but way back when music was music and people were actually owning the rights to their music, people actually had the rights to their music. See, way back when, they were operating on 432, which I believe is perfect sound.
The Rockefeller Foundation in the 40s was not okay with that, and they actually changed that shit to where all music was then recorded and played in 440 hertz, which is described back in the 40s, 440 in the 40s. Pay attention to the numbers. It was actually described as demonic and something that's evil. They couldn't quite describe why it felt evil, why it invoked evil, but it did.
By tuning musical instruments and using them at 432 hertz instead of 440 hertz, atoms and DNA begin to resonate in harmony with the spiral of the golden ratio in nature. Tuning all the music in the world to 440 hertz turns it into a weapon of war. It is said that as a result of it, people begin to think and feel in a certain way. They plunge into inner chaos.
Right, it was also described back in the day as a war on consciousness, so it was meant to dumb you down, which music does today.
What you have to understand, Satan being the prince of the power of the air, he has the ability to go in and pervert the sound.
Humans vibrate in the frequency range of 16 to 32 hertz, which is equivalent to the musical scale from low C to high C. The frequency of planet Earth is 8 hertz. Alpha waves, the frequency of the brain in a relaxed state, are also waves with a frequency of 8 hertz. But when we listen to music tuned to 440 hertz, it makes this fundamental 8 hertz change to 8.25 hertz, which means that the harmonics generated are out of harmony with the planet.
432 hertz actually matches the electromagnetic vibration of this earth.
The setting of 440 hertz is not harmonic with the frequency of the human being because the fundamental becomes 16.5. When we listen to music at 440 hertz, the first thing we notice is lethargy, tiredness, a desire to do nothing. And this happens because the harmonics of this music do not correspond to a person's vibrational frequency.
To the untrained ear, I want y'all to really hear me. To the untrained ear, people that don't know, you don't hear the different frequencies. But those of us that walk in a prophetic anointing, that are anointed by God to see and to hear and to sense different things, especially empathic people, we understand that I can listen to, like, I'm going to tell y'all something. It was hard for me to watch that entire concert. Why? Because of the frequencies of the music. It's so seductive. It has a very seductive undertone.
Damn. So when you play your shit, just know it ain't even being played right.
Back in high school, I used to fuck with Bella. Now hit the FBO. Back in high school, I used to fuck with Bella. Now hit the FBO with Uncle Bella.
When you go into a studio booth, either you're going to do one or two things. Either you're going to pray and invoke the presence of God before you go in to that studio booth, or you are going to have a ritual and invoke a demonic presence there. Artists are going in, they are channeling. How you think that this music comes out the way that it does? They are channeling through their creative mechanism, right? They're channeling different spirits to come in.
So we should be matching the electromagnetic vibration of the earth, but we not. We at 440, And so we all out here really promoting something that's evil.
Okay, so I honestly hope that on the face of it, you can see how asinine this is. And if you weren't a musician, I can forgive you a little bit. But if not, here are some quick facts about music. Musical notes are measured in hertz, which is a measurement of vibrations per second. While seconds are mathematically derived, they're also sort of arbitrary because they're ultimately, you don't find seconds in nature. They're a way that human beings have figured out to quantify time. Just like the other standards and measures. There's no such thing as an inch or a gram in reality, except that human beings have standardized it. So what I'm getting at is there actually might be a deeper symmetry in music than the one that we've set up through hertz that human beings just aren't really aware of, if you want to get spiritual about it. And when you play music, you're playing a variety of tones, which, while maybe centered around a tuning based around A being 440, the rest of the notes are going to be somewhat arbitrary. Because, and this is the part where this theory gets really goofy, if you play music, then you're aware of the fact that you're playing a variety of tones at any one given time. The 440 standard is really centered around the A above middle C. So it does standardize and set a specific way that musical tones are supposed to be thought of. However, regardless of how you separate them, they're going to have sections that don't go into the Fibonacci sequence. And that's okay. There are tons of notes, regardless of how you tune, that don't reduce to a solid number. So sometimes you have frequently a note that'll be like 19.5 or like 22.6. It just is how it is. Because, if you think about this, right, like 440 is just one version of A, of which on a piano there's, I think, 8. So it doesn't even make any sense because every single note doesn't reduce the Fibonacci sequence regardless of what you tune to. And it's also just overall pretty arbitrary.
There was only 2 hydration festivals at stations at the whole fest. And lines formed at that, and it discouraged people to get water. So that led to a lot of stuff.
How can you have that many people there and have 2 free water stations? Some of the people that were there, these young kids or young people, have since come out on TikTok and YouTube and put videos out and said that it was so hard to get water there because there was only 2 stations for the free water line or whatever, the free filtered water. And the lines were 3 hours long. So you guys imagine, especially y'all that have teenagers, if they're at their favorite person's concert and they need water and they go look at the line and it's 3 hours to fill up their water bottle, most teenagers is going to be like, man, bump that, let's keep going, while they're sweating in the Texas hot sun, becoming more and more dehydrated, and then they get pushed up against each other. Of course they passed out.
Oh my God!
But, the music is influencing people to do evil. Just look at it.
Listen to heavy metal music. The devil will make you kill your mom.
And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and continue your Beneath the Floorboard binge. YouTube thinks you'll also love this one, so keep watching.